My name is Mina Maina. I work with Springboard Capital and I'm in charge of customer experience. As always, it is indeed our greatest pleasure to have you on board our different activities that we organize for our customers. We do not take that for granted. Today, we are on to a new platform, LinkedIn Live. And at this juncture, I'd like to introduce our speaker for the day. Today, we are speaking about how to apply creative thinking as an entrepreneur. We will need these tips to run our businesses and of course to apply them in our day-to-day life. We have none other than our head of strategy who has immense experience in company management, in customer experience, and has been working with so many businesses and companies in helping them come up with creative strategies for sustainable growth. Therefore, she is best placed to talk to us today. Karibu sana, Madam Caroline Gadhuru.
It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon and to discuss this very exciting topic. And so we are ready to kickstart and get moving. What a wonderful afternoon we have lined up ahead of us.
And on to our first question, Carol. How would you describe creative thinking?
You know, when people talk about creative thinking, they think about creatives, like you have to be a designer, like you have to be able to draw, to paint, to be an architect, to have this magic hand that will just create wonderful illustrations and images. But that's not it. Creativity is just to think outside the box, the proverbial box, actually to throw away the box and to think differently and to think in a way that stimulates growth, that stimulates movement, that stimulates something different. So that is actually creativity, and we need to bring it to our businesses all the time.
That's awesome. What would you say is the importance of creativity in entrepreneurship?
You know, and the entrepreneurship life is a life that requires documentation. You know, the way we tell stories, as entrepreneurs, we really need to tell stories, because if we don't innovate, there's a saying that says innovate or die. So if we don't innovate and if we are not creative within entrepreneurship, then the business will die. So we need to constantly think, how can I do things differently? How can I do them better? How can I make my customers see me in a different way? How can I repackage things? How can I present myself in a way that stimulates interest? How can I have curiosity come out of my customers, my stakeholders, my partners, my team, my staff, the people I work with, even myself as an entrepreneur? How can I make things exciting every day? Because as human beings, we live for excitement. We want things different. So that's how we view it in entrepreneurship. Mine?
This is very true, Carol. And in all these questions, we're asking ourselves, how would businesses place creativity as a strategic priority?
Yeah, the thing about businesses, and especially African businesses, it is said that we don't plan well. And this is said because it is thought that our ancestors didn't need to plan. There was no winter. The weather patterns did not require for planning. You just wake up, you run into the bush, you spear an animal, you grab some fruit. You live good life. You live open air. You live in a cave. You're happy. There's no need to plan. However, out west, because of winter, they need to plan. So it is said that we entrepreneurs on this side of the world, we don't plan. However, a strategy is very critical. It's very important. 90% is the planning. Once you've planned well, and it doesn't even need to be an elaborate plan. Once you've planned well, you just run to execute. So we need to plan to be creative. We need to ask ourselves as entrepreneurs, what am I doing differently this week, this month, this half year, this period, this season? What am I doing differently? So if we don't build creativity into our plans, into our strategy, then we'll be doing the same old, routinized work, routinized activities, and then asking ourselves, why am I not getting results? Why am I not moving? But if you do the same thing over and over again and you expect a different result, there's something that is said of businesses and persons that are like that, and we refuse that as entrepreneurs. Yes, Mine?
That is true. And in planning, we must be very unique. And we must cut an edge apart from our competitors. So what are some of these approaches that entrepreneurs need to take to set themselves apart from their competitors?
We are created very differently, very uniquely. Even if we are doing the same business, we can be a series of shops doing the same thing. We can be a series of service providers doing the same thing, but we are unique, we are different. We are not the same. And so this is what we need to remind ourselves all the time, because you see in business, many times people want to copy. They want to copy what so-and-so is doing. So-and-so started this, I want to start it. I ran to this person's shop, how have they laid out the shop? I want to do the same thing. It doesn't work like that. We really must be uniquely different. We must ask ourselves, what is it about me that I want to achieve? What is it about my business that I want to do and make it nice, make it creative, and then just run with that? We also need to compete against ourselves. Many times we are competing against the competitor. Why? We should compete against ourselves and ask myself, today I did this, I sold this, I created this, I made this happen, I talked to these customers. How can I do this better tomorrow? Myself. The rest will follow. If we are constantly and consistently competing against ourselves, we will most definitely be better, different, unique, and set ourselves aside from others. So the competition is ourselves, Mine.
So as you're saying, Carol, creative thinking is about bringing divergent and convergent thinking together. Would you kindly shed some more light on this concept in business?
Yeah, there's two ways to do this. You can have convergent thinking. That is just one idea. You wake up, you have this brilliant idea. You muscle everybody around the idea and say, I have an idea. I have an idea. This is my idea. And you put all your resources into that idea. You put all your thinking process into that idea, and you run with the idea. What do we need to do to make this idea work? And that works because sometimes in the middle of the night as an entrepreneur, ching, the light bulb goes on. You know those ideas that come in the middle of the night? Those ones. So that's convergent thinking, where we converge around an idea. Divergent thinking is we harness ideas from everywhere. Meaning, what do you think? So and so, what do you think? We want to get towards this goal. How do we do it? And so we brainstorm, we sit and we brainstorm and we think about how we want to do it. We harvest little ideas from everywhere, we put them together and we make them work. So there's not just one way in which to do this. We can do this any which way. If we have a brilliant idea, we converge. If we want many ideas, we diverge. But both convergent and divergent thinking is very important to stimulate and to stir creativity in entrepreneurship. Mene?
That is great. It seems like creativity is an insurmountable task. It is often assumed that people are either born creative or not. Would you say creativity can be learned?
You're asking whether creatives are born or made. You're asking whether this is something that's inherent in somebody or whether it can be learned. I think that there's people who are very solution-oriented, and these are the people who really, really come up with creative ideas. So whereas we have a good portion of some attributes and some aspects that we are born with, there's absolutely nothing we cannot learn. There's nothing we cannot do. There is nothing impossible. As Lupita Nyong'o tells us, all dreams are valid. So if it is our dream to be absolutely creative, why can't we be? We just need to wear the heart of solution-orientedness. So when something comes at us, we ask ourselves, how can I do this? What can I do about it? Who can I ask? Can I read widely? Can I see how it's being done in other parts of the world? Can I stimulate myself to think differently? It can be learned. It can be learned. Some people are naturally like that, great, and they too need to build on it, because even if you have a natural capacity, if you don't build on it, then it disappears. So yes, Mine, we can all be creative thinkers. Why not? Why not? The gate of creative thinking is wide open. We just need to run into it. Yes.
That is very encouraging. So you're saying creativity is a muscle that must be put into practice for it to grow. How best would you say this can be nurtured?
We need to be very aware of it. If we are not aware of something, then we'll not be intentional and will not be purposeful about it. So as business people, we need to be very, very critical in the sense that anywhere we are planning, the way we plan for finances, business people, finance is the thing that really gives us sleepless nights. The way we plan for finances, the way we plan for suppliers, the way we plan for partners, the way we plan for people to help us run the business, that same way we must plan for creativity. and ask ourselves, what are we doing creatively this week? What are we doing creatively this month? What are we doing creatively about this process? What are we doing creatively about this partner? What are we doing creatively about these customers? So it must be something that is on our lips all the time as business people, because if we don't refresh, if we don't refuel, if we don't rejig things, if we don't re-innovate them, then we will be dead in entrepreneurship. And we don't want dead entrepreneurs. We are great entrepreneurs this side of the nation, this side of the continent. We just need to be very intentional to nurture, learn, and run. Mine?
Carol, with all these things that you're saying, and you remember entrepreneurs are very, very busy people. They have too many things to think about: their staff, their customers, their rent, all these expenses, and all these things that are taking their time. How would one make time for creative thinking?
Indeed, we are agreeing that entrepreneurs are very busy, and the entrepreneur is the accountant, they are the marketer, they're the customer experience excellence professional, they are the business development person, they're the person who washes the area, they're the cleaner, they're the logistics person, they are everything. It is so busy in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs should just get awards for surviving in business. But in the midst of all that, we must make time. We must set aside time. When we are putting the diary for the day, that I'm going to do this to-do list, 1, 2, 3, 4 for today. At the bottom of that list, I need to ask myself, what creative thing have I done at the end of the day? As we've said, it's a muscle. We need to develop the 6-pack. We need to go and crunch creative ideas. And we can't do that if we are not repeatedly in the gym of creative thinking. So the same way we make time for exercise in the morning, we open the gym of creative thinking and we go and carry dumbbells and create those biceps, triceps, 6-pack of creative thinking. So it must be done. It must be done. You're smiling. The 6-pack must come. The 6-pack of creative thinking must be delivered. Yes.
I say it is always there's no pain without gain, and there's no gain without pain. So I get that is what you're saying. So now, what would be the biggest barrier to creativity in a business?
The vision carrier, the leader, the founder, the main entrepreneur should encourage everyone around them, whether they have a mentor, a coach, some people they work with, friends, whoever they're sharing business with or thinking through their business with. If they have a small boat, however small the business is, you need a boat. Whether your boat is one person you go and bounce ideas off, whether it's 2 people, you need a boat. So the entrepreneur needs to tell these people, to challenge them and to hold them to account, to ask them how creative they have been in this period. If the board is meeting quarterly, if we have quarterly review meetings, monthly reports, in the report, we must ask ourselves, where did creativity feature here? Because if we don't grow, something that's not growing is dead. And so the business will be dead if we are not growing creatively. And we don't want ordinary growth. We want creative growth. It can be done. It can be done. Yeah.
That is true. And where there's a will, there will always be a way. So Carol, as a strategic guru, how do we build this culture of creativity within the business?
We need to have it as part of the everyday. Culture comes from thoughts. Thoughts become things. There's a great saying that says thoughts become things. So how do we document these thoughts? How do we make it an everyday thing? Because culture is what we do. Culture is not what we say. A culture is that every day you get into the office and you greet people. If you do this every day, everyone who comes in will start to do that. As a nation as well, our culture is to greet people. We say hi to people. Kenyans are very friendly. Africans generally greet people. It's a culture. It's our way of being. It's the way we do things. So to embed creativity into the culture, it means it needs to be an everyday conversation. It needs to be a regular scheduled conversation. And so therefore the culture can be built with determination and with purpose, and it can happen. Creativity can become a cultural thing within the enterprise. So it is possible, Mine. We just need to get up and do it.
Thank you so much, Carol, for your wonderful, wonderful insights. I am sure our listeners and whoever is watching us has learned something in these few minutes we have been talking. And I have a question from the audience. How do we protect these ideas from being stolen?
A very pertinent question. IP theft real. IP theft is real. And so therefore, as entrepreneurs, there's a fear around sharing. There's even a fear around starting, because somebody else is going to see this, somebody with more muscle, with more money, and run away with the idea. However, in entrepreneurship, we say that we must be bold, we must be daring, we must dare to do. So if fear is paralyzing our ideas, and if fear of theft is causing us not to step out, then that is a self-limiting belief. No one can run your idea as great as you. No one has the passion like you. No one has the sight like you. No one can see the way you see that idea. So copycats will come. And if somebody else's business is based on a copycat framework, it cannot be sustainable. They will follow. So yes, we just start with our idea. We move with speed. We run with it. We ask ourselves, where do I pivot? The world is changing like this. The environment is changing like this. Risks are coming up like this. New regulation is showing up. So we need to be on top of things so that we can, in common strategy speak, say pivot. We can pivot into something else. We can go out there and see what's being done and not copy ideas, but have an awareness of other great things that can be put in place in the business. So yes, it is real, but we should not be afraid of it. Nobody can run faster than what you have been inherently built into as a passion.
As a recap to our viewers and our audience, do not be a copycat. Always try to be an original. Carol, would you kindly share with us your last words of wisdom?
It is said that entrepreneurship is hard, but what is not hard in this one? Nothing comes easy. In fact, it is the sweat and the slogging and the toiling and the tilling that we look back and we learn lessons. It's not about the end goal. It's about the process. It is in that process that we really are able to tell stories. It is in that process that we are able to guide others and mentor others. It is in that process that we are able to grow, and our character that comes from perseverance and gives us hope generates from there. So let us not be afraid to be creative in our business. Let's not be afraid to fail. Let's go out and fail, pick the lessons, and come back. Show me any great entrepreneur, Mine, who has never failed. There isn't one. They tell stories of such embarrassing failure. So we shouldn't be afraid. We should be creative. If we create something and it doesn't work, we just come back and recreate and get our creative juices running. So I challenge every entrepreneur out here, let's go do this. Let's be creative in business, and let's run businesses that are going to change the world. What do you think, Mine?
Thank you very much, Carol. And those are very good practical ideas and practical points that everyone who is willing can be able to apply in their business. And to our viewers, we'd just like to remind you that at Springboard Capital, we pride ourselves in being the springs that propel you to greater and better heights in life by lending you money at very affordable rates. We are the lending hand. Most of all, our professionalism and customer experience are unmatched in this market. You can find us at our 3 branches. In town, we are at Kagen House, first floor, Thika at Tower House, and our head office is at CPS Center on Thika Road, opposite Survey. We are also on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And our website is www.springboardcapital.co.ke. Thank you very much for tuning in. See you next time.